The icy grip of winter grabs the North Coast a little tighter this weekend.
The weekend, the weekdays, it's rough every day for one city's dwindling police force.
And come tomorrow morning, can you be sure your children won't be moving targets? We have the information you need right now.
From Cleveland Television News, this is 19 News at 11.
Pretty cold. Had no idea we were going to walk this far.
And you? Good evening, everyone. I'm Denise DeFalla.
And I'm Emmett Miller.
It's great to be back. Welcome to the premiere broadcast of 19 News and the coldest night of the season.
And if you've been outside today, no doubt you got a taste of the chill out there.
That's right. In fact, 19 News reporter Wally Griffith knows firsthand anything more than a taste can be harmful. Right, Wally? How you doing?
Denise, I'm pretty cold, as you'd expect. We're here live. You might call this snow removal central. What you're seeing right now is some of the trucks and front loaders are being loaded up with salt so that your drive to work in the morning to Cleveland or any place in Cuyahoga County would be a clear one. Now, this kind of work is difficult. Temperatures this cold are hard on people and machines alike. Moving hundreds of tons of road salt fast isn't easy under the best of conditions. But frigid temperatures and 30 below wind chills are among the worst.
Extreme cold temperatures always creates problems for us as it relates to hydraulics. These trucks all have a lot of hydraulics, and so they have to come in for that type of problem. But so far, we haven't had any major breakdowns per se, and we have most of our trucks on the road.
Yeah, 737. I would like to. How are your conditions right now of your zone?
The conditions of my zone is good.
So far, Cleveland's road crews have kept up, concentrating on drifting snow and watching the weather forecasts. What they can't help are the temperatures.
Wow, it's cold. The wind is bad. Jeez. Woo!
Cold and potentially dangerous, too. Area emergency rooms are getting ready for the inevitable cases of frostbite.
Well, the parts of you that are most at risk are the parts that are furthest from the heart. So that's your tips of your ears and your nose, your fingers and your toes. So walking around with your head open, if something's going to get frostbite, it'll be the tip of your ears or the tip of your nose first.
Of course, some people just can't play it safe.
I'm cold. I'm freezing.
Can you believe that, guy? Of course, all the usual advice about this kind of weather applies. You should dress warmly and dress in layers. And if you can avoid it, stay out of the cold, because sometimes, Denise, it's just cold and there's nothing you can do about it.
Definitely. But you look like you're prepared, Wally.
Well, for the time being, I wouldn't want to stay out here too long, though.
All right. Well, come on back in and get warm. Now, Emmett Miller, my partner, is with meteorologist Dave Sweeney in the Weather Center with more on this weekend storm.
Hanging out over here with Dave talking about this whole thing, one of our reporters, Michael Shefsky, was out in Aurora where his family lives. Right. Said it was the whiteout out there, a nuclear winter, he called it.
Very much so, with that lake effect in the preferred areas in Geauga, Ashtabula County. They got a bit of snow today, and the temperatures have been bitterly cold. The source of this air, Emmett, is off the Arctic Circle. Now, it modifies some as it comes down over Canada, but it is bitterly cold out there. And behind us, we got some wind chill temperatures, and we'll show you those in a bit. But right now, the Cleveland wind chill's around 12 below. Pittsburgh's wind chill 35 below zero. That's what it feels like on exposed skin. Going to be a cold one tomorrow. We'll tell you all about it coming up a little bit in weather.
Gives you a shiver just thinking about that whole thing. Well, it may seem hard to believe out there, but the men and women on the police force out in East Cleveland were very happy with this really cold weather. Denise DeFalla is with Mike O'Mara in the Reporter Center with the explanation on that, Denise.
Well, who could be happy with this weather? A police force that needs all the help it can get in keeping criminals off the street. I'm here with Mike O'Mara in the Reporter Center. Mike, you were in East Cleveland today where the ranks are really getting stretched to the breaking point.
That's right, Denise. The bottom line is there isn't enough money to keep enough of the cops out on the street, and that's dangerous for everybody.
Okay, if you're one-man unit, you're on one side of town, your next backup may be 2 minutes away. In our line of business, 2 seconds is too long.
You can disregard. Cops responding to any dangerous call won't go anywhere without backup, and that's the problem. In the most densely populated city in Ohio, there aren't enough cops to provide backup. Most ride alone and wait for another officer before going in. But because of budget cuts, there just aren't enough to go around.
If I'm in a situation where I may need help, sometimes it's not there. And it's not because the men don't want to help, it's because they may be on a priority call themselves.
There are lots of priority calls. There are 10 gangs in a 2-square-mile area. Meanwhile, police staff levels have dropped to an all-time low.
I'm not comfortable. I'm not satisfied, but...
East Cleveland Mayor Wallace Davis says there's just no money.
Well, I don't see a magic solution where we can wave a magic wand and be able to return our police department to the level that we really wanted it to be.
Meanwhile, the streets get meaner every day.
This is about life or death in this neighborhood here. The citizens there, the law-abiding citizens are prisoners in their own home.
And don't look for any changes in the near future because East Cleveland is still in a state of fiscal emergency. And Denise, it seems everybody's a loser in the situation, though.
Yeah, Mike, what about federal money? Any help there?
No, the mayor told me today they applied for the federal money under the crime bill, and the answer from Washington was a flat no.
Oh, that's too bad.
Really?
Of course, we'll be keeping an eye on this situation.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Mike. Emmett, back to you.
Thanks, Mike, Denise. In East Cleveland, it's lack of manpower. In Medina, lack of a contract. The police there have been on the street without a contract since the beginning of the year. The issues there include health benefits and pay. No talks are scheduled and no walkout apparently is threatened. The alleged gang rape of a 12-year-old Avon Lake girl has a small community in shock tonight. The girl tells police that 3 of her schoolmates raped her Thursday evening in a wooded area behind the public library. Many people in that quiet community share the mayor's reaction.
Certainly it was shock. I have a 12-year-old daughter myself, and my wife and I, we look at each other and we realize that it could have been her. And talking with other parents around the community, it's just a wonder of what's going on in our world today. What's society all about? What are we teaching our kids at home anymore? And it certainly is not a happy day.
3 boys, ages 13, 14, and 15, are in custody tonight. They'll be arraigned tomorrow.
Hundreds of parents and students in Lorain braved 8-degree temperatures today for a pep rally, but this was not your average pep rally. They're angry over a plan by school administrators to turn Lorain High School into a junior high and merge several other schools.
I've been around Lorain High School so long.
Don't close Lorain High School. Leave our 3 schools open. Give our children the chance of a quality education. Don't overcrowd them.
The parents say under the new plan, learning would be more difficult because nearly 1,000 students would be packed into one school. We tried talking to Lorain's acting school superintendent for his side of the story today. He said since it was his day off, he wouldn't talk to us. The city's less fortunate families found support today from a surprising source. Their music is filled with images of death and demons, and their latest album is titled Euthanasia. But the band Megadeth used its concert at the CSU Convocation Center to help save lives by feeding the hungry.
It's all part of the country. I'd say our hardest part of the country is like the Deep South.
He's great. He's one of our better.
They've raised over a ton of food in every city that we've been in, and the food banks have been benefiting. And like 6 weeks at least is how long that food lasts in each city. So it's really kind of a big deal. And thank you to all the fans out there who did it tonight in Cleveland and everywhere else.
Now the fans got to meet the band backstage. Band members also say they don't approve of award ceremonies like the Grammys, but they would love to be inducted in Cleveland's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
No doubt with actions like that, they have a pretty good chance. Dave Sweeney, up again.
We have a very cold day today, had a very cold day coming up tomorrow, and there's a winter storm warning out for northeastern Ohio, but the snows have stopped. Are they coming back? We think so. We'll explain why coming up in the weather.
All right, thanks, Dave. And Jeff has his eye on the Cavs.
I do, and a bunch of the Browns, who didn't have to worry about Sweeney's snow at all. Hawaii for the Pro Bowl. 5 of the guys just had a great time. One of them even scored a touchdown. So we'll have all that coming up.
Oh, boy, there you go.
There you go.
More brown when they come back. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Well, when you hear about school safety, you usually think about students and teachers getting into it.
Take a look at this and think about what you see. Now look again. We see a potential problem in your child's school. You'll see why when we come back. And space relations are being tested in the way the Cold War could never have predicted. Stick around. 19 News at 11 is going to continue in a moment. Nearly 3 months ago, a stranger walked into Wycliffe Middle School and began shooting. One person died, 3 others were injured. Neighbors could hardly believe it. After all, this kind of thing only happens in other places, right? But Wycliffe certainly did teach us a lesson. That is that violence can strike anywhere. Right after the shooting, there were promises of a security overhaul. Denise is with our chief correspondent, Dave Barker, to see what's actually been done.
Well, we are in the Reporter Center with a preview of a troubling investigation. We're calling it A Stranger in the School. This series uses the very latest in video surveillance technology, right, Dave?
Right here, Denise. This is absolutely amazing. There is a camera right here. Right
in
here
the glasses?
Yeah, right here at the bridge of the nose there. Now go ahead and put them on here. And everything, this is such a clear picture, as you can see, as we look around the studio here. Really gave us a chance to get a candid look at school security. Now, they work, again, very well. Everything I saw through the glasses was recorded on a mini recorder strapped to my back. By the way, we had no idea what we would see when we began this project, and I didn't want to sneak around, so what I did, I wore this red coat right here, also carried this black bag. I had some clippity-cloppity cowboy boots, had these big old black glasses. But what we found was shocking. You see, we were never stopped in any of the schools. And we began at the scene of that terrible tragedy 3 months ago at Wycliffe Middle School.
Next thing you know, this person with a rifle comes running around the corner. Just running around just saying, "Get out of my way." And we obliged.
Right after the shootings, there were promises by administrators for a complete security overhaul. Well, months later, we went undercover to see what had been done.
You know what?
And found it had barely been tuned up.
So everything that I see through these glasses is going to be recorded? Yep.
I knew I looked ridiculous, and as I drove to Wycliffe, I just knew I'd get caught as soon as I hit the front door. But it was amazing. I walked for over 10 minutes. I saw and spoke with many teachers.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how you doing? Hi.
And had total access to all parts of the school, and no one ever stopped me.
What if I told you I just walked in about a half an hour ago and spent 10 minutes just walking your hallways? Does that surprise you?
I would be surprised at that, yes.
We went to many other local schools, east side, west side, inner city, to the south. I passed principals, hall monitors, went into classrooms, and into dangerous areas of schools.
You should not have been able to walk those halls.
We found parents were upset with the seemingly total lack of security.
That doesn't make me happy.
And after our investigation, school administrators promised change.
Thanks for coming and giving us a wake-up call before we face another situation.
Sadly, we found it very easy to become a stranger in our schools. An exclusive 19 News investigation will show you just how accessible our schools are. And Denise, it all begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
Unbelievable, Dave. Was there any kind of reaction from the schools?
Oh, yeah. Every school that we went to has now beefed up their security. In fact, it's district-wide. This series, it hasn't even aired, already having a big positive impact. But again, it'll all begin tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. And back to you.
All right, thank you. Cleveland's only Hispanic radio station is now getting a lesson in the blues. Yesterday's fire has forced WHWN radio off the air indefinitely. Flames destroyed or damaged more than $100,000 worth of equipment.
This was my baby, my creation. I know that since the very first show that established in the city of Cleveland back in 1960, my dreams were always to have a station for the Hispanic community.
No one was hurt in the blaze. Firefighters think a homeless man trying to keep warm may have started the whole thing. And meanwhile, no answers coming out of Youngstown tonight following the death of Cleveland Thunderbolts owner John Cusack. He was found dead yesterday in a motel near Youngstown. Cops are apparently not talking. Neither is the family. Cusack was convicted in Miami last year of helping a securities company fool investors with inflated revenue reports.
Republicans are predicting trouble for President Clinton's choice for Surgeon General, and it's because he performed abortions. They're asking the president why he didn't tell Congress sooner that Dr. Henry Foster had performed about a dozen hospital abortions, some of them elective. The White House says Foster is more than qualified and came to the president's attention through a teenage pregnancy program in Nashville, which urges teens to delay sexual activity, and it does not provide abortions. One of those leading the charge against Foster is Bob Dole, who is apparently positioning himself to run for president. The Senate Majority Leader isn't officially saying he'll run, but he did say today he is qualified for the job. Mr. Dole says he will announce his intentions in April, 50 years after he was wounded in World War II, and added his war record will set him apart from other candidates, including Mr. Clinton.
No sign of a break in the fighting today in Chechnya. The ragtag rebel soldiers of Russia's breakaway republic have vowed to keep fighting after shooting down a Russian Su-25 warplane on Saturday. Smoke could be seen rising from the ruins of shelled houses as dazed Chechens wandered through the debris. And meanwhile, Bosnia's warring factions seem to be coming to terms. Bosnia's Croats and Muslims today agreed on a pact to preserve their federation and to narrow their differences. Washington says it's pleased with the accord, reached during a meeting in Munich with the 5-nation contact group, including the U.S., Russia, Britain, France, and Germany.
And it looks like they're going to scrap that meeting in space with the shuttle Discovery and the Russian space station Mir, as long as the shuttle continues to leak fuel. The two were supposed to have a close encounter tomorrow, a sort of dress rehearsal for a shuttle docking in June. NASA says the leaking fuel wouldn't pose a threat, but the Russians aren't as confident.
One of the biggest parts of what we are about on this flight is to get their level of understanding high enough that they can have the same degree of confidence in our vehicle and our teams as they do in their own.
While today's attempts to fix the leak have not worked, NASA says they're not ready to give up on their plans for a close approach. A final decision should come early tomorrow.
You know, sometimes when it gets really cold and dreary out there, you feel miserable. You don't even want to go outside.
It's true. Warm weather isn't just good for a nice tan. The sunshine is a good way to keep us away from the doctor's office. That story's coming up.
I've disliked winter. I mean, it's always been not a good time for me.
No big surprise. Truth be known, most of us feel that way about winter at least one time or another, but it could be more serious every once in a while. I'm standing with Gretchen Carlson over in our news production area with a sad story, and it is sad. That's the word for it, isn't it?
Sad is exactly the right word, Emmett. Cleveland winters are actually very sad for thousands of people because they actually suffer from something called SAD. It's seasonal affective disorder, and it's much more serious than just the post-holiday blues. The sunshine. It makes us feel great. But for people like Judy, the sun is a major part of her well-being. Judy suffers from SAD, seasonal affective disorder.
Say in the fall, maybe in October, I'd lose my energy and I'd start feeling like really lethargic. And it got to the point where I was, sleepy and wanting to sleep all the time.
Judy felt alone, but she's not. As many as 36 million Americans could be suffering from SAD. Dr. Catherine Wisner says it's a biological problem triggered by the lack of sun during the winter months. Too little sun causes SAD patients to produce too much melatonin, a hormone that naturally depresses them.
As they'll actually say, it seems as though their mind is foggy, their mind is slowed down as well, things that they used to remember, they can't.
Treatment for the disorder varies. Judy's been taking the antidepressant Prozac for 2 months with good results. For others, relief is as easy as turning on a light.
The treatment is simply called light therapy, and this is how it works. A patient suffering from seasonal affective disorder sits in front of a light box like one of these here. Now, believe it or not, doctors say as little as half hour a day in front of one of these boxes can dramatically change the way a patient feels.
When they're treated, then they come in vibrant, smiling, and the facial tone is back. They're engaging in a very different way, and they do really look like different people.
Judy knows she's a different person and wants to encourage others who may be suffering from SAD to get help too.
It gave me hope that, yes, this is something that can be treated, and I don't have to live with a dark cloud hanging over my head during winter months. I feel like I'm the person I am in the summer. I feel normal.
Now, if you think that it's SAD that has you feeling blue, help is available at University Hospital's Mood Disorder Clinic. The number is there for you. And just how dreary is it this time of year? Well, it's as bad as we think. The only cities with less sunshine in the winter months are places that we've probably never even heard of, like Mount Washington, New Hampshire, and Walla Walla, Washington.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll take Cleveland over that.
I certainly will,
As long as
too.
I can get my key in the door.
Let's think spring.
Back to Denise at the news set.
Thinking spring as well, but I'll keep that phone number handy. Meteorologist Dave Sweeney is up next with a forecast that'll make you ask Mother Nature why all this punishment. And we're sure they're laughing at us in Hawaii, where they have the best of everything: 5 Browns, a Pro Bowl, and plenty of suntan lotion. The only piece missing is Jeff Phelps, and he's here with us. Coming up.
Yes, Denise, it's cold and snowy here in Cleveland, but it's worse in the Northeast. This is New York, where some areas of the state got up to 2 feet of snow, and this poor guy looks like Old Man Winter himself. And wouldn't you know it, he got halfway through his job, and his snowblower ran out of gas.
Oh, boy, what a shame. Well, I'm with Dave Sweeney, our meteorologist in the Weather Center.
Yes.
And Dave, wind chill 27 below.
Yeah, one wind chill earlier today was 31 below zero. So bundle up the kids at the bus stop tomorrow, because it's going to be cold once again. There is some good news in all of this come middle of the week, which we'll get to in a second, and some pretty nifty pictures to show you. So, first of all, let's take a peek at what it looked like a little earlier today. And we did get some sunshine. Yes, indeed. That was the downtown skyline about mid-afternoon. Sunshine, blue sky, a little bit of it anyway, and we'll take what we can get, because it was awfully, awfully cold out there. And if you were outside, you know just how cold it was. 16 degrees, our high temperature today. 5 was the morning low, 33 and 17 the averages. Not any records, but it was pretty chilly. Let's take a look at the current temperatures. The numbers outside right now, it is a whopping 6 degrees above zero with a wind chill of 12 below. Now the winds have died down, actually out of the west, at 9 miles per hour. Let's take a look at some of the other temperatures, and indeed, our winter storm warning for this evening for northeastern Ohio, for Cuyahoga, Ashtabula, Geauga Lake, and Trumbull counties. Portage and Summit counties have been taken out of that warning area just in the last hour or so, and the winter storm warning will exist in this area until tomorrow evening. Now, as we move it ahead, we'll show you one of the reasons why. The bitterly cold temperatures. We said it's 6 here in Cleveland. It's 1 below in Akron-Canton, 1 below in Mansfield, the same in Pittsburgh, 1 above in Columbus. You factor in the wind, and what does it feel like on your skin? In Pittsburgh, it feels like 35 below zero, 22 below zero in Akron-Canton, 19 below in the Mansfield area. Now, what does it look like on the satellite view? We've added radar to this, and the reason that the lake effect has been cut off right now is the winds are right out of the west. That means the winds are coming across the landmass and not the warmer waters of Lake Erie. Later on this evening, the winds are expected to veer or turn back to the northwest, bringing them across the lake waters and into the snow belt of our area for a little more snow, maybe 2 to 4 inches. Some of the higher elevations out here in Ashtabula and Trumbull counties may get 6 to 8 inches of snow. Look at the national satellite view. The storm that caused all of this mess has now pushed off into Nova Scotia, but the source region for all of this very cold air is right off the Arctic Circle, coming right down over Hudson's Bay, James Bay, and into the Cleveland area. It will modify some when we get to next week. But until we get there, it's going to be rather cold. Now, one of the things we can do with this nifty little weather computer of ours is fly you right into the weather, and that's what we're going to do right now. Take you down, right down to ground level around Dallas. Some snow showers on my house in Kansas City. Just called back there about 20 minutes ago. We're going to head up towards Memphis, Evansville, Cincinnati, Columbus, and even a lightning bolt or two coming out of those lake effect snowstorms around the Cleveland area. We'll pull back to show you that very cold air up in Canada and a very cold night for Ohio with generally clear skies. But as we said, a little bit of hope when we get to our 5-day forecast. So the forecast for greater Cleveland and vicinity, winter storm warning tonight, snow squalls and very cold temperatures. Please bundle up if you're going out tomorrow morning, especially the kids headed for school. 2 above, and winds shifting around to the northwest 10 to 15. Tomorrow morning, and this is how we're going to do it, morning rush hour, winter storm warning continues. It will all day long. Snow squalls continue and bitterly cold wind chills once again. 7 at about 8 o'clock when you walk out the door. And tomorrow afternoon, watch what happens. The winter storm warning stays there. The snow squalls will continue. Not heavy squalls, but with the winds kicking up at 10 to 15, they're going to blow it around, and visibilities will be greatly reduced. And on our 5-day forecast, a little bit of hope we promised you. Okay, we'll throw in a little sunshine when we get to Wednesday, but come right back to the snow on Thursday. But notice the good news in all of this. The temperatures start to warm up.
Yay!
And warm is a relative term here.
Nice thing.
Because 25 is, you know, that's still pretty cold. But
frigid.
yeah, it beats the dickens out of 12 or 16.
Not bad.
That's
We'll
true.
take it.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you
Dave.
very much, Dave. He's one of 13 in his family, one of 12 handpicked to represent the Eastern Conference.
We'll go one-on-one with the Cavs All-Star Tyrone Hill. Stick around. Sports is next.
And what's wrong with this primate? Nothing. Nothing a little hangover medicine can't cure. Back in a minute.
Take a good look, Emmett. This is it till what, July, August?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's all over. Aren't you sad?
Yeah, very much so.
I
Jeff
can
Phelps
tell.
in the Sports Center. Rough life for those guys in Hawaii, huh?
Yeah, a week of fun. They had to practice a little bit, but now
Just a tad.
Just a little. As far as real football goes, we know it was all over last Sunday when the 49ers beat up the Chargers in Super Bowl 29. The point this week, get some sun, have way too much fun at the NFL's expense, and not get hurt. That was important. Yes, it's that funny stadium with the bridge. That means Hawaii. That means the NFL's Pro Bowl with, naturally, palm trees everywhere, just like we'll see at spring training.
Hey, Jeff, congratulations on the new job. Try not to drop the ball.
Leroy Horde, listen to that advice, too. Second quarter from the 4-yard line. Leroy running like Leroy. Tuck playing in the Pro-Am with Bill Murray. Our pal. Simpson missed the cut, just finishing up here on the 18th hole. Nothing to it.
It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
It was his fourth shot, though. He hit one in the ocean. His partner didn't care. Peter Jacobsen started the final round 3 strokes out of the lead. But on the 12th hole, Peter Jacobsen for birdie. This to give him the lead. Peter Jacobsen was 16 under par. Final round 65 to win it by 2 at Pebble Beach. His first win in 5 years. You got some kind of disturbing news. Some murders, actually, in New Orleans. And one of the people who right now is being reportedly one of the victims is the ex-wife of Brown's safety, Benny Thompson.
Oh, no.
So that has just come across, and that happened in New Orleans. We'll
That
keep you
just
up on
in.
that tomorrow.
More on that later. Thanks.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Jeff. Well, finally, there is monkey business, and then there's monkey business, chimpanzee style. Skippy isn't showing her best side tonight because, well, the escaped chimp is... I'll let the expert tell you.
Monkey drank some beer. She was having a good time.
How much beer?
I don't know, but she's inebriated.
Poor thing. The folks from the Humane Society say Skippy will be just fine. She just needs to sleep it off. Poor
You know, we
little
all
thing.
kind of feel responsible, don't we?
Aw,
We create
the
this
poor
thing, the
thing.
animals get into it.
Somebody let her get into that beer.
That's going to do it for the premier newscast of 19 News. Thank you very much for being a part of Cleveland television history.
And be sure to watch us tomorrow night at 6 and 11. As we say goodnight, we're going to open our Cleveland Family Album, which allows all of us the chance to celebrate the places we call home.
And tonight, our first pictures in this album are going to be of Cleveland's newest newsroom, us.
Good night.
So what they want to try to do is take these kind of weapons off the streets.
Because I think the viewers want to know about that. We've had parents calling about it. The students are correct.
Good. I was just returning your call about hometown heroes.
Stand by, camera 3. And what about tonight's Ramona's Kids? How long would you like for me to go?
Interacting visually with Jeff and Emmett on a 3-shot.
Denise will be right off the news desk.
Little snow in the higher elevations in West Virginia.
Are you going to do the live shot or someone else?
I'll do it.
If anybody would say... So I'll get my sound, I'll get my video, and have a pack for 10.
City parking lots, the convention center.
Yes, thanks.
Oh, he didn't see a chef.
Good.
Plus, his name is Esau.
In 3 years, the Browns have decided
Pacers will be at Gund Arena tomorrow night.
for 19 News at 11. Good night.
I got